Hey there, Takeliners. I'm Dr. Abdul El-Sayed. I'm a physician, epidemiologist, host of the Dissected podcast, and former health commissioner in the city of Detroit. And I'm here to examine athlete anti-vaxxers. All right, let's get into it.
I'm not anti or pro-vax. I'm pro-choice. With that being said, the issue at hand is information is being withheld from players in order for a player to be swayed in a direction he may not be comfortable with.
Can you imagine if Cole Beasley came up on the field and his helmet was like half on? Because that's kind of what he's doing with his mask right now. Dude, it's supposed to cover your nose. We've been doing this for 18 months.
Agents are being told by teams if they have unvaccinated guys, they will not be given opportunities as of now to be seen in workouts. So once unvaxxed players get cut, they're losing a dream they have worked their whole lives for over a vaccine that is proven to not keep people from contracting COVID, as we've seen.
So there are three things that Cole said there that are misguided. The first is the lack of transparency. You literally can go to websites that are hosted by the government and look at the outcomes of every single person who participated in these studies. If that's not transparency, I don't know what is. The second point is that this isn't pro-choice. You're not making a decision about whether or not to have your baby. And in the end, that decision is between a woman and her doctor. This decision impacts all of the other people that you come in contact with every single day. So I hope that, Colt, the fact that you play a team sport, you know what it's like when someone misses a block or someone misses a tackle. You don't want to be the guy who misses the block. That's what you'd be doing if you don't get a vaccine. Everybody is so all in on science, now more than I've ever seen. What happened to God's will? He tweeted on the internet, the product of huge levels of scientific research. The second thing he said is, the flu has killed a lot of people over the years as well. Did you care then? I don't know, man. I wasn't alive in 1918. And if I was, when the flu was a pandemic, I'd have cared. And if they had a vaccine, I'd have taken it. And guess what? The flu doesn't kill as many people now because we have a vaccine that's available every single year. And guess what? A lot of people take it. We all care about the flu, but it's not a flu pandemic. It's a COVID-19 pandemic. And so you should get your COVID-19 pandemic vaccine. So this is Jalen Ramsey. He's a defensive back for the LA Rams. He said this on July 22nd. I know 2 people right now who got the vaccine but are COVID positive. I'm just saying, I wouldn't look at a teammate as bad if you don't get the vax. No pressure from 5. Here's the thing though. How many people do we know in this country who didn't get the vax and wound up in the hospital? Hospitals are filling up right now. Thousands of people who did not get the vaccine got COVID positive. But guess what? They also got sick enough to have to wind up in the hospital. And unfortunately, some of them have died. Here's the point about the vaccine though. The vaccine is meant to protect you from getting sick with COVID, not just getting infected with COVID. Those are 2 different things. It's possible that your body may contract some COVID, but because your immune system has been trained what to do when it sees it, it pummels it and kicks it out of your body. So yes, you may be COVID positive, but you're not COVID positive in the hospital and potentially at risk of dying. So this is Darius Butler in response to Marcus Cromartie. Marcus Cromartie said this: I disagree. Not getting the vaccine is selfish in my opinion. Here's Darius Butler. I agree with you. I'm also of the crazy thought that some medical decisions are selfish. It's a vaccine that absolutely no one has more than a year worth actual research on. I should take it not because I'm comfortable with it, but because you're decreasing your risk of getting hospitalized with COVID-19 and you're decreasing the risk of giving it to someone else. There's another point here too, Darius. I graduated medical school in 2014. I was reading about the mRNA technology that allowed us to produce this vaccine in record time back when I was in med school. It's not just a year's worth of actual research. You're undercutting years and years and years of scientific research that allowed us to get to this point. And guess what? I remember when I read about mRNA that this would allow us to take on a pandemic disease should one of them arise. Here we are in 2020, 2021, and we've got that pandemic disease and we've got that vaccine. So please, don't be selfish. Take the vaccine.
Tired of getting killed by daily fantasy sports experts? Don't play experts, play the house, play Stat Hero. You don't just watch sports, you follow every play and player. You turned watching sports into a full contact sport. See the competition ahead of time, pick the lineup you think you could beat, go head to head with no pool of opponents. You deserve a better DFS. That's Stat Hero. Stat Hero is better just because they winnow out the competition. If you're playing on one of the other sites, you're playing against like 1,000 people, 10,000 people, 2,000 people, and all of them, like, that's all they do all the time is just think about this stuff. If you're playing Stat Hero, you're just playing against Stat Hero. That's it. It's one-on-one. Go to stathero.com/takeline, sign up free, and right now you can get 3 times back on your first play. They're giving you a 300% match. That's unheard of. Go to stathero.com/takeline. stathero.com/takeline.
Here's journeyman quarterback Derek Anderson. This is total bullshit, NFL. So if a vaccinated player contracts, which they will, no consequences, that's ridiculous. Forcing guys to get an emergency use vax that's unproven is bullshit. Let them make their own decisions. Would retire tomorrow if I was still playing. From what I heard, you didn't really get to play all that much. That being said, at the end of the day, there is reams and reams of data, literally hundreds of millions of people who've gotten these vaccines. We know that they're safe. We know that they're effective. And the reason that you would penalize someone who didn't get vaccinated is the same reason we ask people to click it or ticket, because you're far more likely to get injured in a car accident if you're not wearing your seatbelt. Here's Bryson DeChambeau, a pro golfer. I don't need it, he said about the vaccine. I'm a healthy young individual that will continue to work on my health. Yo, you play golf, man. You may be healthy and young. That's a really selfish way to think about the world, because there are a lot of people who are not healthy and young, many of whom have died of this virus. And the choice that you make right now about whether or not to get vaccinated has everything to do with whether or not they may be infected in the future. And let's talk about the youngest people, our kids who can't get vaccinated. We've got to do all we can to protect them. And your choice not to get vaccinated hurts in two ways. A, it puts the kids with whom you come in contact at risk directly. But B, because you're a pro athlete, questionable, your decision is something that kids are going to look at and ask whether or not they should get vaccinated when it comes their turn. And I hope that they make the right choice, unlike the one that you're modeling right now.
I'm going to be vigilant about avoiding a close contact. I've even thought about, should I just set up literally plexiglass around where I sit so that this could never happen again? I've thought about it because I'm going to do whatever it takes.
I don't blame Kirk Cousins, right? I just blame the university he went to, which is Michigan State University. I'm sorry, I had to do it. Here's what Kirk Cousins said in 2020. If I get it, I'm going to ride it out. I'm going to let nature do its course. Even if I die, I die. I kind of have peace about that. Dude, what the fuck? Like, just get your vaccine. It's not that big of a deal. So you're willing to walk around with plexiglass, but then if you die, you die. This makes no sense. What do you think the worst thing's going to happen? You die? Are those the side effects you're worried about? So you're telling me that you're fine dying of COVID-19, but you're not fine getting any side effect that you think you may get from the vaccine. Kirk, just stick to playing football. I hope we've dispelled some of the myths that unfortunately some of our athletes have been carrying around. Look, guys, I don't mean anything personal by it, but I do think it's important for you to realize something. When I was a kid, I loved sports. I played all the time I could. And I would look up to those athletes and I would watch what they were doing to train, and I try and do exactly the same thing. Every choice you make, well, it gets watched. And there are millions of people watching, young people, kids. And soon enough, there are going to be vaccines available for kids 12 and under. They're already available for kids over 12. And when you say you're not taking the vaccine, what you're telling a young person is, well, if you take it, you're going to hurt your performance too. Might as well not do that. And in the midst of a pandemic, when our kids are at risk, they're 1/5 of all cases of Delta that we've seen over the past several weeks. I just don't think it's worth it. So please, do the right thing for yourselves. Do the right things for your families and your teams. Do the right things for our kids. People are watching. And look, I know that you got into this to play your sport because you love it. So do those kids. But it comes with a platform, and that comes with responsibility. So I hope that you'll make the right decision. We're counting on you. All right, friends, that's it for me. I hope that you'll check out more if you're interested in my podcast, America Dissected, also hosted by Crooked Media. And until then, vax up, mask up, back up, and wash up. We'll see you soon.